All right, today we're going to take a look at thesis statements and some of the requirements and expectations for the thesis statements that we write. So first of all, a thesis statement is what you believe and what you plan to explain or prove in your piece. The thesis statement must be debatable. So if it's factual, it can't be a thesis statement. It must be specific. We want to make sure that our audience understands exactly what our point is and exactly what we're going to prove. We must have evidence to support it. That'd be the reasonings we're going to talk about. Now, usually, thesis statements are at the end of the introductory paragraph after we've introduced the topic and some background information. And as far as the race model, it would be the R and the A, the restate and the answer combined would create a thesis statement. There's a nice little formula we have that we can use. We can place our opinion or our belief, the thing we're trying to prove, and then because, and then we can offer the reasons why we think that thing is true or valid. We're going to take a look at some examples to help us understand this a little better. So one example, if the prompt was, why is screen time harmful? Or if that was my question that I was asking and I was trying to prove to somebody why that was the case, my thesis statement may look like this. Too much screen time is harmful because it makes it harder to sleep at night, raises the risk for attention problems, anxiety, and depression, and increases the risk for medical issues that come from a lack of exercise. Now, if we look at this, we have, first of all, I've restated and I've answered the prompt, right? But I've also made sure my topic is, or my response is debatable. While it may seem like everyone believes or is factual that screen time is harmful, there are actually quite a few people who don't agree. And so as of this time, we would say this is a debatable topic. We would also have people who would debate some of the reasons why. Some people would debate that they can sleep fine at night after spending a lot of time on screens, etc. Right? But what I have here is debatable. It is very specific. I give exact topic that I'm going to cover. I also give exact reasonings for that. So I'm very specific. My audience, when they read this, would have a very strong understanding of what the article or the piece was going to be about. I do offer some of the evidence or reasoning as to why screen time is harmful. And again, usually it's at the end of the introductory paragraph. So before this, I would introduce the topic of screen time, and then I would give some background information, and then I would get to this point to bring me into my body paragraph. And as I said already, I have restated and answered the prompt. So let's take a look at another example. How does learning to persevere help us? So again, my answer is going to be debatable, specific, and I'm going to offer some reasonings as to why I believe it to be true. Learning to persevere through our challenges is a vital skill because life is full of challenges that we're required to overcome if we want to be successful. Now, with this, there are some ways I think that it could be more specific. For example, I say because life is full of challenges that we're required to overcome if we want to be successful. I could be more specific in identifying some of those challenges. So I could find examples from my own life or general examples that other people could relate to. I could talk about school and education. I could talk about wanting to achieve maybe different athletic fulfillments or accolades, things of that nature. So I could be more specific in the challenges that I offer. All right, one last example we're going to look at. Why should we use WHOOP goals? So here's my thesis for this. WHOOP goals are useful because they give us a wish we want to strive for. Let us focus on an outcome for our success, identify an obstacle we'll need to overcome, and that information allows us to develop a strong plan to help us achieve our goals. So first of all, debatable? Yeah, some people would say that WHOOP goals aren't useful, that they can either goal set without WHOOP goals just fine, or that goal setting in general isn't even of use. It's specific. I identify the specific type of goal setting, and I give specific reasons as to why it is useful. And again, I've restated and I've answered the prompt. All right, so now let's take a look at some non-examples. And with these, you are going to identify what's missing or what could be improved about them. Who is the best basketball player of all time? My response is, Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time. Now with this, I want you to think and question, is this debatable? Is this specific? Do I have evidence or reasoning to support my claim? And have I properly restated and answered the prompt? What makes math so challenging? Math is hard because there are a lot of things to memorize. And again, is this debatable? Is it specific? Have I offered reasoning? And have I restated and answered the prompt? And lastly, after reading the article, what did you learn about pollution? Pollution is bad for the environment. One more time, is it debatable? Is it specific? Have I offered reasoning or evidence? And have I restated and answered the question?